Hey everyone, Meinke here from MLive&apos, joined by Justin Rogers. We did our first round of 53-man projections last week, Justin, and one of the more interesting breakdowns was the last tailback spot, that battle between George Winn, who had that position last year, and the new guy, Zach Zenner, fan favorite, and has looked very good in the past week or two in particular. What do you make of that battle at this point?
I know Brandon Copeland's very happy because he somehow made both our rosters. But no, I mean, coming into camp, I thought Winn was the clear favorite. I know Zenner was a popular choice with the fans just given his college resume. Very impressive, 3 2,000-yard seasons in a row. And Winn had a year experience in the system, special teams under his belt. I just thought Zenner would have a hard time overcoming that. Would be a great practice squad fit. But 2 preseason games in, I've seen 2 very good performances. Yes, against second, third, and fourth stringers, but you can only perform against who you're playing against, and he's played very well. He had a long run taken away, but he still managed to lead the team in rushing and receiving last game. And at this point, I've got Zenner with the slight edge. I do think the job is his to lose at this point.
Ooh,
yeah.
I do like what I've seen from Zenner. I wouldn't go nearly as far as to say it's his job to lose at this point. I think it's a dead heat between the two, which is saying something of Zenner because he is an undrafted rookie who had ground to make up, I think, in that battle entering camp. But he's done it with 2 great performances. He's looked good in practice. I think he's, at this point, a more polished rusher, or at least he's producing more as a rusher than what George Winn is. Winn has more power, which I know the staff likes. He also has experience on special teams, and I think this might get lost sometimes, especially among fans, but when you're talking about the 4th guy at a position, like running back, he's mostly producing on special teams anyway. That's his foremost value to the team. But you also do have to consider potential, especially with young players, and I think that's where Zenner has maybe an edge as well. It's a great competition. It's one that's far from decided, in my opinion. On the projection, I gave it to Winn at this point, and I still think he's the guy that's there. He has experience on special teams, which is if you're trying to win now, he's going to give you more value, I think, immediately. But I know the team likes what they see from Zenner. I think he's gained a lot of ground. I think he's coming around on special teams, which again is I think going to be the X factor in that competition. And so Zenner is very, very, very far from being out of this.
There's 2 ways to look at it. I think Winn offers something unique. I think he's going to be a better 3rd down and 1 short yardage rusher, if you will. I think he's ahead of Zenner on special teams. And if you're just looking for different, Winn's the guy. But I look back to New Orleans, as I often do when I look at this offense, and I look at the year where they had some injuries and they just kept running different backs out there. And that was kind of where Chris Ivory kind of broke out of nowhere, as he came as a 4th-string running back, unheralded, and turned into a productive NFL player. And here we've seen Joique Bell deal with injuries, we've seen Reggie Bush deal with injuries, and if one of those guys were to go down, not obviously Reggie, but Amir Abdullah or even Theo Riddick, I feel like Zenner is a guy you could plug and play in a little bit more and get more out of him offensively. And there's some value to that, just given the number of injuries that go on in the running back position league-wide.
Yeah, maybe. I just haven't seen Zenner do anything against a starting defensive player.
Sure.
I just haven't. And granted, the Lions didn't do anything rushing-wise against Washington, particularly in that first half. So it's a team-wide thing right now. When Joique gets back, I think they'll be further along. Once they start getting offensive linemen back, they'll be further along. But Zenner, I like what I've seen from him. I'm just not ready to anoint him yet because I haven't seen him do it consistently enough, especially against guys who matter, guys who will actually be on 53-man rosters next month. I still think Winn has a slight edge in special teams, but I talked to Zenner last week, and Zenner said he's working extremely hard on the special teams work. It's something he hasn't done since he was a redshirt freshman in college because he was so productive offensively. But he's coming around. He has the athletic ability to do it, and I think if he continues to improve and show that he can add something to the special teams, I think he has a very good shot at sticking.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm making this leap in my head, but I look at the blocking he had at South Dakota State, and then he would go into a game against Missouri or Nebraska and would be able to put up big numbers against far superior talent. And I see that as maybe some level of comparison of what it's like to go run behind a second-team offensive line against second-team defenders to moving up to that next level. Yeah, the holes are going to close a little bit faster, and the defense is going to be a little bit faster individually, each individual player. But he seems to have good vision. He runs tough. He falls forward. He seems to be taking the right lanes, as Matthew Stafford pointed out today. And like I said, you can only compete against what you're given a chance to. So I don't think we're going to see any first team work in third preseason game, which is the trial run for the regular season. But why not give him a little extra run in that fourth game?
I just don't want to draw too many parallels between the Cornhuskers
they're the same.
And the Seattle Seahawks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what you're saying, and I'm not saying that you're wrong or that he can't do it. You can't say that until they put him out there against starters. But I just feel like I'm not going to say this guy can totally replace this guy if the Lions have issues rushing-wise until I've seen him run against people who aren't going to be cut in 2 weeks' time. And that's primarily who we've seen Zenner run against. And that's just my word of caution when it comes to Zenner. I think he has had a fabulous preseason. He's positioned himself to be right on that bubble, along with Winn. I think they're in a dead heat. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out.
And we saw Winn last year. I mean, he had to actually play that role. He had to step in and basically start and carry the team in a game against Buffalo. I don't remember the exact stats, something like 18 carries, 70 or so yards.
Yeah.
It was adequate. And that's, I guess, what you're looking for is can you get a guy in there that's adequate, that can pick up 3.5, 4 yards of carry. You don't need a star. You need somebody that can patchwork the job while your starter recovers.
Yeah. I don't think you can understate how much the Lions like the physicality of George Winn. Stafford was telling us today that the linebackers don't like to hit Winn on the blitz because Winn hits hard. He hits back. And that's something that translates. He's already done it before. It's part of what makes him great on special teams.
Zenner's listed bigger than Winn, but
Winn
does not play like that. Yeah, that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, when Winn hits you, he wins more than he loses. I've seen Zenner get knocked on his backside quite a few times in this camp. I mean, the strength difference is noticeable.
Fun fact about George Winn: he's right now living in his mother's basement.
Yeah.
if you need any motivation to make an NFL roster, that's the ultimate motivation, I think, is to move out of mom's basement and with his two younger brothers.
Ryan Broyles is living on $60,000 a year. Apparently, George Winn's living on $16K.
But aren't we all?
Yes.
For Just Rogers, I'm Kyle Meinke. We are MLive, definitely living on $16,000 a year. Keep it right here.